Hey everyone! 12 Forever is an action comedy fantasy cartoon released onto Netflix. It's the first Cartoon Network cartoon to be created exclusively for Netflix and was created by Julia Bickerman. Like Infinity Train, it's based on a pilot that was uploaded to the Cartoon Network YouTube channel a few years ago. It follows a kid named Reggie, a girl who is scared of growing up. After turning 12, she starts to deal with becoming a teenager soon. In the midst of all this chaos in her daily life, she escapes to the fantasy world called Endless, along with her best friend Todd and the new girl at the school, Esther. I love how Endless is quite random. There was literally an episode where the characters are trying to figure out how Endless works, and it turns out they can't figure it out because it doesn't make sense. Now, I originally planned this review to be in two parts. This would be the first video, and then I'll release another video about the second half of the series next week. However, I decided to make just one video but split it into two halves. But ultimately, I decided to just keep it in one big video, but split the video into two halves. The first half is about the beginning of the series, while the second is about the latter half. This is because shows often change during a season, so it means that I can talk about how it was at the beginning and compare it to how it was at the end and see if there's any contrast in between. This is the first part. There is a lot to enjoy about this show. The voice actors do an amazing job portraying their characters, especially the Butt Witch, who is introduced as the main villain in episode 2. I think it's a she, is voiced by Matt Berry, and he does an awesome job portraying her. Her sounding like a man is just so funny to me. And if you know me, you know I love goofy comedic villains, and this one carries an amount of decent danger and humour in a way which lots of other shows have done, but this one does it really well. Another fitting voice actor who is also really good is the voice actor for Reggie, Kelsey Abbott. Her voice is perfect for playing a young child like her. And is it me, or does she sound like a more tame Mabel from Gravity Falls? I mean, she's voiced by Kristen Schaal, so it's a different person. But I don't know, I kind of hear a similarity in their voices. Todd's voice actor is also so talented. It's the ever so talented Anthony Del Rio. The talent behind the show is amazing in my opinion, and all the characters are so awesome with their voices. Another thing I really like about the introductory episodes is they don't dump every single important character on you all at once, and instead introduce them episode by episode, giving them more time to establish themselves and their roles in the story. And then there are episodes which give insight on certain characters who aren't Reggie, which is the character the perspective of the show is mostly focused on. And these are really cool to me. I love seeing some of the background characters or secondary characters, get a little bit of spotlight in the show. Aside from the cast, another thing I love about this show is the character designs. They're very nice looking. They're so much better than ones that were in the original pilot on YouTube. The characters feel quite real to me. They go through very relatable issues and act how people would feel, which brings them more to life. In the episode which introduces Esther, Reggie acts quite jealous, and this resonated with me. I've had plenty of times when new people have been added to my friend groups, and they worry me, but then I start to warm up to the person as I get to know them, just like how Reggie does with Esther. One thing about the characters which is okay are the characters in Endless. I mean, they're pretty random and they all have one personality trait. And I do like the episode when they're sneaking through the vents and you can see the characters' daily lives. I think that's quite an interesting concept for an episode. And it gives us a little bit more information on the background characters, just like I said earlier, is a really good thing. These characters in Endless are typically created by Reggie and are based on something quite random. Half of them are created in the first episode, like Reggie's old toys, and my favourite is this character, who reminds me of a really tame version of Herbert from Family Guy. He's just got such a weird voice and he just appears out of nowhere and acts a little bit creepy, but he's fine and I really enjoy him. He's always funny when I see him. He's used for funny gags and I wish he showed up more in the series. The other quirky characters in Endless are also enjoyable, but not as funny as this one. Oh, and I also got to give props to Dr. Champion. He's also pretty funny. One thing this show presents really well is a pro-gay theming. I noticed this even before one episode made it really obvious in the second half of the season. That's a pretty good thing. It's a positive message to present to kids, as not many cartoons have homosexual relationships in them. So it's good to have them shown to kids and to have the main characters, have some kind of link to homosexuality while the show isn't based around it. Because kids need to know that these things exist, and the sooner they see it in life, the sooner they'll accept it as a person. I mean, there is one thing about the whole relationships at 12 years old that I thought was a bit weird. Old gets a girlfriend in the second half of the series, and it's just a bit... I don't know, it seems like they should be older when they're tackling these things, and not 12. But then again, the whole theme of the show is getting older and becoming a teenager. I just feel it's a little bit weird that they have it this early on in the show. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe that's just me. These relationships though are not bad, as I do love how Reggie reacts both to Todd's relationship and when she meets Conelli. Your best friend, who's probably one of the only friends you have in your life, is, spending more time with someone else instead of you. Of course you're going to act the way she did and get angry. And with Cornelli, I think it's really cute how she is around her. It may seem sudden at first, and her feelings just kind of come from 0 to freaking 120, 360, whatever the highest number is. But I think it's really cute how, she gets all clumsy and super shy when she's around her. And in regards to the season finale, this show sets up the next season pretty nicely, as we learn in one of the episodes prior that Endless is much larger than we initially thought, although this is my least favourite episode of the series. I love episodic shows. With Netflix and other streaming services, it means we don't get as many of them as I wish we could have, so it was really nice to see them actually make one. So far, this is my favourite cartoon I've seen on Netflix, and I've seen quite a few Netflix original cartoons. So overall, I really like this show. If you have Netflix, I highly recommend watching it. However, if you're not into slice of life fantasy cartoons, or you prefer more serial watches, this might not be for you. But if you do like these things, you have a great show waiting for you. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think about 12 Forever. Catch you in the next one, guys. Peace!